here's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to first, I'm bringing this up as energies. So, as we know, there are different levels of energy. Some people call it levels of consciousness, right? It is actually, I feel like it's both, but I'm going to go over some. I'm going to share with you guys a graph so you can understand. I shared a book that I've heard of this and I've been following it for a while, but this book is like, I feel like this explains it better than anything else. It's a little bit different. It's not biased, it's right in between. And so I think it's pretty epic to kind of explain everything because everything that I've talked about falls in somewhere on the spectrum of energies. And so when actually, here's what I want you guys to know first of all. So based on the energy level, yeah, you're going to have different emotions that are correlated to those energy levels. And depending on where you're at, you will be able to experience how are your emotions, how is your energy, what kind of actions, what kind of life you live, what your goals are, what your preoccupations are, whether you're struggle with your weight, whether you struggle with mental health, and realizing that there are set levels. And once you know where your base is, you will know exactly what you need to work on to move upwards. And why I say that is, and the other thing I want you to realize is that even if you are set somewhere, you can have pockets of other levels of energy. So you could be someone who is generally happy, warm, kind, making money, pretty motivated. You can have all of these things. I would say this is someone who is near 300 level energy. So this is 0 to 1,000. I'm going to explain some of this for you so you have background, but I'm going to share a graph with you, and then I'm going to explain to you what this has to do with weight and what this has to do with not just losing weight, but keeping it off. Because all of this is going to come together and you are going to know once we start chatting. And as I go through this too, if you decide that you want to work with me one-on-one, whoever's in this group still, because right now I'm not launching. Right now I'm not going out there. I mean, I have people who will still call me and set up appointments, but right now I'm not launching. I'm really diving into my own energies so that I can raise them up to a place where I feel like I will really be able to move people and the right people. That's going to be a big part of this too, is like, who am I speaking to? Because not everyone is going to resonate with the message. And so if you've resonated enough with this message, that means you are in that energy field where this is going to apply to you. So that should be exciting enough that if you're resonating with this, this is going to help you. But otherwise you wouldn't resonate, you wouldn't be here with me. So we have this range of energies. So, and when it comes to health and fitness, that is in, let's say, a 200 range, right? 200 is where you can really start to focus on your body, the physical body, food, movement. This is around the 200s. When you move up to the 300s, that's where it becomes easy. That's where there's ease. That's where the intuitiveness comes from. That's where you no longer have to worry about what you're eating, what kind of workouts you do. It just happens, and part of it is belief, part of it is energy, and it just is. It's easy. You get clarity, you get calm, you have confidence. This is the energy level that I'm trying to work you guys through, is that 300, right? And so if you are someone who feels like, oh, I feel like I have this high energy, but you're still struggling with weight, that means you are either you reside in a lower level of 200, or you might be even a lower level of like 0 to 200, or you might have pockets of 0 to 200. So let me briefly go over what this is. So the scale is, and I'm using the scale right now that was created by Frederick Dotson because I resonated a lot with this, because he basically explains how everything is on this energy scale, right? And I kind of talked about this last week, where food is on the scale, places that you can live are on this scale, different religions are on this scale, people and the work that they choose. You can basically You know where people's energy are by, their mindset, the words that they speak, the actions they take, the hobbies they have, the house that they have, their recreational hobbies and where they are financially, where they like you can tell pretty much everything based on their energy. So I'm gonna go over this briefly, and then I will create a. I see, I wrote some notes down. I will create something that goes a little bit deeper into it. Let's see. Oh, this is not the best, but okay. So let's say 0 to 1,000. Now, the lower levels, people under like 200 and under, that's where 78% of people reside, humans reside. 78% reside at 200 or below, or 199 and below. So this is the very low energy fields. This goes all the way up to 1,000. Most people are going to be between 200 or less. A good chunk of people, 18% of people, are going to be between 200 and 400, and then, or 200 and 500. And then there's a few, like half a percentage, that are up higher than that. But we're gonna start off with where the majority are, where you need to be to see results in your body, and then where you need to go to be able to maintain this forever with ease, with confidence, without struggle, without having to worry about it, where you can kind of let go of the rigidness that we take into consideration in the 200s. And that's the strategies that I provide for you, because that's the strategy you need to really work on that. Because if you were already past 300, you would already be in the place that you need to be, and you wouldn't need or desire, or this program wouldn't even be on your radar. So hopefully that makes sense. So over 300, so 399 is as high as we really talk about, or I'll be talking about, especially when I create this new module part of the program that is going to intertwine everything, is and you guys are getting this first. So I'm very, very excited for you guys that you guys are going to be getting this. But over 300 or over 400, you almost kind of go backwards and you stop taking care of yourself, because then you're more into intellectual knowledge and you stop worrying about what you physically look like. And then once you're in 500s, you start to care a little bit more because you follow your bliss. It's all going to be about following your bliss. But again, after I talk about the scale pretty quickly, just to give you guys a run through, then I'm going to go over the steps you need to take to ensure that you are protecting your energy, increasing your energy, again, with the main idea of getting up into the 300s. Now, you don't want to jump up there. If you find that, okay, I have pockets of 100 or below, or 200 and below, or maybe that's your state right now, then you don't necessarily want to be focusing too much on getting up to the high 200s or 300s. You want to be focusing on, how can I follow my intuition, my bliss, and just move myself up a little bit so that you can hold a new state, right? Just like with weight loss, if you lose weight, you don't want to go from the weight loss phase and then just go back to normal, because you haven't had that set point, right? So you want to be very intentional with the set point, so your hormones in your body level out so that you can move forward into the 300s. Hopefully this is making sense. So we're going to be talking about 0 to 400 or 399. I'm going to go over this so that you can kind of get a generalized idea of where you reside. And remember, you can be either like really stuck in like a range, or like a very small range and have pockets, or you could just be stuck somewhere, right? So all of us have all of these ranges within us. So we're going to go from, like, I'll say 20 to 99. This is the very lowest energy level, and this is where people really reside in shame and blame. Some of the feelings are, now I chicken scratch this because I just wanted to jot it out before I created something, is the emotions that you have with 20 to 99 on the energy scale. Now again, energy, if you guys know, like water and ice and steam are the same thing, right? They just have different energy levels. And the lower the energy level, the more dense, the more slow. There's not as much freedom, expansion, movement, right? It's stuck, right? So ice is stuck, vapor, more flowing, water, right in between. So I want you to kind of think of that. So 20 to 99 is going to be, and you can take notes if this helps you. The emotions that you are going to correlate, that will correlate with this energy level or frequency, is going to be guilt, apathy, sadness, regret, depression, blame, and hopelessness. So this is going to be the absolute lowest energy. If you reside here, you're not going to have goals. You're not going to be driven. You're not going to have a lot of outward feelings of love. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to have a victim mentality. You're not going to be motivated. You're going to be tired. You're going to be self-loathing, right? You're going to not have a lot of joy, and you're going to be preoccupied with the past and what others think of you. So this is a very low, low, low vibrating energy. You're very stuck. You're not motivated. You're worried about the past. Again, past does not exist. We are in a time-based reality, more like a pond versus a linear like path, right? Like a lot of us think. So that is very low. If you are in this low level, well, actually, I'll say the next one too, because both of these levels below 200, you need to be focusing on empowerment. So when I talk about the framework of tough, we talk about the strategy, which is metabolism. That is how you're going to physically put in the work to create the body, right? But first of all, the only way you're going to be able to physically create that work is if you have empowerment, and this is going to be the mindset. So 199 and under, you're going to need to focus on empowerment. You're going to need to focus on shifting your beliefs, shifting your thoughts, releasing negative emotions. Like, you're gonna be in this place. Now, you can resonate higher and still have pockets of this, and we're gonna talk about that too, because those pockets are things that you want to be working through, you want to be letting go, so that you can move forward on the energy scales. Let me know if this is making sense to you. So that is 20 through 99. Under 20 is basically like nothingness. Like there's nothing left for you. You have absolutely no energy. You probably need like outside help, medical help, because you are like flatline pretty much. So then we're gonna go from 100 to 199. So this is a little bit higher. You're functioning more, you can get things done, but this is also a place of fear and pride. And a lot of times I will talk about living your life out of the filter or with love, right? Because these are kind of opposites. Fear is at the lowest level, love is at the highest level, right? So fear and pride. So here you're gonna feel emotions such as anxiety, inferiority. You're going to feel neediness. You might deal with addictions. You might feel emotions of hate or anger, dissatisfaction. You might be overwhelmed or frustrated. So these are gonna be the emotions that go along with 0 or 100 to 99. And I have them divided up because there is still some separation in here. So this can better help you understand. Now, again, we all have the ability to have and feel all of these, right? And if you are vibrating at a higher level, you can still have pockets of this and move through them, right? That's where you move through them. When you have a thought, you don't have to, if you're at a higher level, that you don't have to obsess about that thought, because a belief is just a thought you think over and over. You're able to view a thought. You're able to allow a thought come in without holding on to the thought, right? You can just let it go. But if you're in fear and pride, here you're going to hold on to that thought, and that is actually going to bring your energy levels down. So if you're at 100, this is really, you have a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. You're unable to relax or focus. You might work to survive, but you don't work for enjoyment. You need attention, you need approval from outside sources, and you're not inspired, right? If you're more at a 125, you're going to feel very stressed. You are going to work hard, but you work hard without a lack of vision, organization, intention, foresight, and creativity. So I feel like 125, you work really, really, really hard, but you don't have the vision. And so I feel like here you're going to have a lot of stress and frustration and overwhelm, right? 160, you're going to really be focused on problems, and you're going to be very skeptical, and you're going to demand a lot from people outside of yourself, right? Let me know if this is making sense to you. 180, we're moving up a little bit higher. You might have more emotions. You might feel feelings of arrogance, superiority, and narcissism. And then 190 is you're going to be focusing a lot on the past. Life is very, very serious for you. 190s tend to actually make a lot of money, but they don't hold on to a lot of money because they're really doing it to prove something, right? They're very focused on the past, so they're here to prove something. So a lot of 190s will have a lot of money, but they don't have the happiness, they don't have the joy, they don't have the kindness that comes with the 200s and 300s. Their priority in 190 is really just looking good, right? I want it, so they have feelings of want and desire, and they're willing to do something about it. But again, it's very focused on them. So for a lot of people, I might actually attract some 190s. They have the money and they want to look better. But again, this is going to be a lot of hard work, okay? So from 0 to 199, these are very low levels. This is where you feel very stuck, where you have a lot of negative emotions. And this is actually where, like I said, 78% of humanity resides in these lower levels. What I would suggest you do if you are either stuck in this place, because again, you can have things happen in your life. You know, I talk about the downward spiral. So here, this isn't actually a spiral. Frederick doesn't have a spiral. He just has a chart, which is fine. But this chart coincides really well with the upward spiral that I've shared with you, or the spiral of dynamics, the dynamic spiral of dynamics. Spiral dynamics. That is another version of this. I like this again because it goes a little more into depth. But it's the same idea that something negative can happen, an event can happen in your life that can send you on a downward spiral into these lower realms of energy, even if you naturally reside higher. And the lower you allow yourself to sit in these realms, the more they become your new natural frequency. This is why I talk about so much about meditation, right? This is why I talk about, you know, your highest version, because you want to be able to do things that pull you from this lower level so that you are thinking about your future, right? What you want to create, higher vibration. So things in your life can pull you back down into this downward spiral. And this downward spiral, which again is the 199 or below, is very addictive. It's an addictive emotion. It gets you into this dark place where then you see other things that are also negative. One of that is because, again, our minds are wired that way to see what's wrong. But number two is you are actually brought down to this lower frequency. And we are, wherever we reside, that's what we see in the world, right? The mirror isn't going to smile before you do because it's a reflection. The world is a reflection of you. And if you're on this downward spiral, if you're in this place, everything's going to seem that way, and it's going to take a lot more effort to bring you back up. So this is where the empowerment part comes from. This is where the negative beliefs come from. Again, beliefs aren't fact, they're beliefs, right? These emotions follow those beliefs. So what you want to do if you're in this place is, one, you want to understand, what do you want to create? If you are feeling really low, there's two options, right? Because one thing, if you're feeling a negative emotion, it means you're out of alignment, right? Your soul wants you to follow joy. Your soul has a journey that it's set out for you. And I've told you this before. I can't tell you what it is. It is your internal coach. your internal coach, your inner authority, your inner guidance, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, it's in here and it's telling you every single second. Every second of the day, it is actually guiding you. And when you feel icky, when you feel stuck, when you feel negative, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel frustrated, all of these emotions I talked about that are under 199, whenever you're feeling this, it is a direct signal that you are out of alignment and you are paddling upstream instead of following the flow of going downstream, the ease, the calm. You are actually resisting and causing more inner resistance, inner turmoil. My mouth is getting dry and now I can't talk. You guys know, like you're causing an internal struggle, right? This is so interesting and good. Awesome. I like that. Where we are on this world is how we view others. Yes, exactly. That mirror. It's, you guys, this is all very scientific. This is all very well known. Just most people aren't on a high enough frequency to vibrate with this information. So even if you feel like you've been on this lower level, realize that if you are even here, that you have either pockets of higher level, you're aware of it, your soul is still trying to, your inner authority is still trying to guide you back on your path, but you are going in a different way. So let's say, I remember Amanda mentioning that she was feeling a lot of negativity, right? She was feeling like she was trying to do all the stuff. She was doing the tapping, she was doing this, she was doing that, but she was still feeling this these negative feelings, some of these negative feelings, right? I suggested do nothing, right? So here's my biggest suggestion to you. And again, if any of you guys want one-on-one help, message me. We could do a month of one-on-one coaching. You could go into a program where you're working with me one-on-one. If you're just like, you know what, I just want some specific help on this, anyone who's watching this, $299 for the month. And you know, I'd have you just switch over to the $299 a month and we would do that. So if you want help with that. But what you're going to do is, let's say you're having an emotion. It's a negative feeling. You're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling something that's going, again, first of all, make the realization that this is not a bad emotion. This is not a negative emotion. Even if I accidentally slips and I say that, it is not a negative emotion. It is a signal that you are out of alignment, right? You are not following your joy. You're not following your bliss. You are making it harder. You are causing resistance within yourself, right? So there's two options you can do in this moment. There's the deeper work that we'll talk about, where we want you to actually have a ritual. So I'm expanding this. So in dream, the R is rituals, right? These rituals are going to, because discipline is number one, right? Discipline for dreams is, the D in dreams is discipline, because at first it's going to take effort, guys. It's going to take effort before you get to that higher level where it just happens with ease. So in the beginning, there has to be discipline, because if you're in a lower level, it takes work, right? This aspect, 199 and below, takes extra work. Between 2 and 3, less work. 300s, it becomes easy and flow. Right? And then when you get up to like 400 or 500, then you're just more being, and then you just don't care about most of this stuff anyways. So we're not talking about that, because again, you don't want to try to leap. You want to go, where am I at now? What's the next level that I want to get at? You're not trying to go, oh, I'm at 100 and I'm depressed and I want to be, 400. No, you don't want to do that. You won't be able to handle it, and you wouldn't stay there, and you'd probably come crashing back down, right? So we want to be okay with where we're at. We're supposed to be where we're at, and I want you to ease into that, not like fall into the ego of like, I have to ascend, I have to be a higher energy, I have to be better, I have to speed the process along. It doesn't work like that. So in that moment, realize that this emotion, this feeling, this belief, this thought is just out of alignment with who you really are, your soul. And I'm not talking about, I'll talk about I have so many things that I want to go into, but just realize that you're out of alignment. So if you're having extremely bad feelings, you're going against the stream of life. And that just means you need to choose either one, you need to relax completely. You need to take a time out. I know that seems like, okay, duh, but I want you to be like, for real, like literally take a time out and relax. You don't need to do another thing. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to journal. You don't need to tap. You don't need to write out a goals list. You don't need to check off the next thing. You don't need to do anything. You need to listen to your inner authority and go, what do I want to do? What would be relaxing right now? And it might be taking a nap. It might be watching a funny show. It might be going for a walk. It might be sitting outside by yourself. It might be coloring. It might be writing a book. It might be dancing. It might be going to work out. I don't know. Like whatever it is. So I want you to think, when I'm feeling like this under 200 level, one, relax completely. Take a time out. You're not being productive. You're literally tapping out, okay? Or number two, you can pick a better thought or a better action that just feels better than what you're feeling and doing now. So if you have a thought that says, I'm a lazy piece of shit, no one likes me, that's a pretty bad, low energy, low vibrating thought. So a better thought might be, I'm not in a great place right now, but I am trying. I'm not a terrible person. I made some actions that don't align with who I really am. I'm human like everyone else, and I make mistakes. In this moment, I'm not at my goal, but I'm going to listen to my inner authority, and I'm going to do what feels good now. I'm going to choose to release some of the pressure and just do something joyful. Or again, if you have 1,000 things to do, maybe the better action would be to go for a walk or go work out. Make a snack that would feel good to you. Write in your journal. So there's two options when you're feeling really low like that. Relax completely and take a time out. Or two, pick a better thought, a better feeling, right? Because if you're feeling this way, these negatives, that means you have, there's a thought, there's a plan, there's an intention, there's an activity, a place, or person that does not align with you. And that's where these come from. These are your compasses. With that being said, I want you to take a note because there is a simple way. I wrote it down here. There's a simple way, and I have other ways. We talk about NLP, and I have those processes in the program. This works. So instead of looking for beliefs or whatever, when they come up, you can deal with them then if you want. So if you have a belief or a thought that keeps coming up that's stopping you from moving forward or causing this negative energy in you, you can do that NLP, or you can message me and we can do that together. Or here's a simple way to release emotions. Remember, I've talked to you guys about a lot of times the icky feeling that comes with emotions is because we're resisting them, right? Or we eat to push them away. I want you to be very intentional and aware. And if you are feeling an emotion like overwhelm or stress or frustration or depression or sadness, and you're feeling something, I want you to stop whatever you're doing. So step one to release this emotion in a healthy way is stop what you're doing, and I want you to tap into the feeling. So one, stop what you're doing, tap into the feeling. So it's like, okay, what am I feeling? Just what am I feeling? So you can acknowledge the feeling, because sometimes we don't even acknowledge the feeling. It feels icky, but we just know we feel bad, but feeling bad is an emotion. What is that emotion? What am I feeling? And then I want you, number two, to focus on that area in the body. So a lot of times the emotion will be gone, but where is the energetic trail in the body? Is it in your chest, right? Is it in your throat? Is it in the pit of your stomach? You can even hold your hands there. And I want you to focus in on the energetic trail that it leaves there. Just focus in on where you're feeling that. Again, when we don't release these, when we don't handle these, they stay in our energetic bodies. And you will feel it. So focus in on it. And then I want you just to close your eyes. And you can do this right now if you want. But number 3 is you close your eyes and I want you to breathe in and focus on getting stronger. Don't resist. I want you to focus on making that feeling stronger. So let's say you're feeling some frustration in your chest. You want to breathe in and just think of that feeling getting really strong. You're just feeling it, feeling right into it. And then as you exhale, I want you to release that feeling into the world. I want you to think about that feeling, okay? So again, breathe into that feeling, expand it, breathe into the feeling, let it get stronger, don't resist it, and exhale it out into the world. And you just do that until the feeling, the emotion leaves, okay? That's something, those are the things that you can do in the moment. And then what you want to do is you just go back into life and you keep flowing until you hit the next block. And the next time you have a feeling, a thought, a belief, in that moment, just flow, follow your bliss, follow what your body wants. Take more time. Again, we'll talk about rituals to help increase your energy, because that's going to be another part of it too. Like, not only do we not want to stay stuck in this lower energy level, we want to have an intention of increasing our energy levels, right? Because the more you increase, the easier things get, right? The ice versus the water versus the vapor, right? The vapor, the steam moves around easily, right? It's not stuck. It's just moving. It's flowing. It's going with the flow, right? So then you're just gonna kind of go around, and then next time you hit a bout of something, you're going to handle it in that moment, right? And I want you to really focus on choosing the calm, aligned way. Like literally spending more time focusing on your joy and your bliss. If you are feeling a lot of anxiety, it's because you are resisting and you're making that a normal thing, right? All right, so let's quickly go over 200 and above. This is where 200 and above is when things start to feel good. This is where truth is. This is where good feelings reside, right? This is where things speed up. This is where once you can move from that vibration, you can make that unstuckness. And again, you want to have certain rituals that increase your energy and I think I read that it can take about 3 weeks for you to bring it up back consciously. So you do want these rituals to help keep that up there. And then you want to move forward, because in the 200s is where you can create this body. And then, like I said, the 300s is where you can then let off the steam. But you don't want to just jump. You don't want to go from this to now I have an easy body. And like there's steps that you want to go in order to create this, right? So 199 and below, you want to focus on the empowerment. You want to focus on relaxing. You want to focus on taking the time out. You want to focus on picking the better thoughts, the better actions, so you can move from that lower level frequency. Carol, if you're just joining live, I 100% invite you and urge you to watch from the beginning, because I know you've had some of these low-level energy pockets, and I think this is going to bring so much clarity to you and your journey. So now we're going to move to the 200s. This is the energy levels of contentment and courage. So in contentment and courage, you are going to feel things like trust, eagerness, fun, and maybe some boredom, right? You're gonna feel a little bit of boredom. So in this energy level, and I have some specifics to help you get a better idea if this is where you're at, these emotions are higher vibrating than all the emotions I just talked about, okay? So we're moving up the vibration level. So 200 to 250, everything is all right. Everything is good, everything's all right. This is kind of like a place of okayness. Things aren't epic, things aren't devastating. You're just like, things are good. Now, this is where humanity vibrates at on average. And so even though I said 78% of people are 199 and below, 78%, That's again a lot. I mean, that's close to, how many people are overweight too. And I wouldn't lie, there's not like, it's kind of correlated, right? So once you get into the 200 level, this is when people start to take more action with their physical bodies, right? And again, this is a mid-level energy, but it averages out. So the people who are really high vibrating, and that's why people who are here are vibrating high enough where you're resonating. If there's enough people vibrating high, you bring up the consciousness of the world. So this is why the world vibrates around 200, 220. So everything is all right. Everything's okay. They feel like life is more in their head and it's not really an experience. So life happens up here, right? They're very in their heads. Life happens up here. Instead of experiences. They're preoccupied with order, safety, security. Money is basically everything to them. One thing I do know is between 2 and 250, a lot of times that's where police and authority are, because they're about wrong and right, safety, and actually like they have protected a great amount of humanity. Otherwise there'd be complete chaos in the world. These people are under the mindset of, when I believe it, I'll see it, right? Where we really want to be, I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. Where we really want to be, I see it and then I believe it. Because, so they're really like, you have to prove this to me, right? Reality is created with hard work and diligence. So again, between 2 and 250, these are hard workers. They're changing their lives, they're making changes. These people are really great when it comes to getting the workouts in, right? If I give you something to do and you do it, you make time for it, you make it happen, you're good at putting in the work, you work hard, you're probably 2 to 250. Because that is that energy. Hard work creates results, right? Being diligent creates results. This is where a lot of people reside. They are working hard for the results. Again, this is just mid-level. This is where a lot of people are when they want to change their body, when they finally take responsibility. If someone's not taking responsibility for their health, their weight, they are more likely stuck in lower frequencies more often than not. Not always, but again, that's the spiral. If you're not like very strong, stable in the 200s, you're more likely to have health problems, mental problems, right? Weight problems, physical ailments. So that's 2 to 250, 275. This is higher up. This is when things start to get even better. Things get easier, right? So here is the basic emotions and feelings of the 275 is going to be, you're satisfied. Your life revolves around relaxation and comfort. You're fairly positive. You have a really positive outlook on life. You enjoy the adventure. So you're getting more into the adventure of life. You're stuck on, what does that say? Okay, you're stuck on the verge of acting rather than actually moving forward. Your highest rush are things like sex and sports and being better than like your colleagues or other people in your life. So here in the 275s, you're likely to have a good body, you're likely to be more competitive, you're in a pretty good mood, you're enjoying life, you're enjoying adventure. These people don't have a hard time reaching their physical goals, right? If I were to give my plan to a 275, they would do it, right? They do it to a T. They wouldn't have a lot of excuses. They'd kind of put their mind to it. They're still hard workers. They'd make it happen. So 2 to 299, that's about where they're going to reside. That's where you want to get to from the 199s and below. 199s and below, all about mindset, right? Now, again, that doesn't mean that people in the 200, 300, whatever, aren't in mindset. Remember, this is like an outside people, and that can bring us down. So that's even more important to really work on the beliefs, the emotions, get that in check, bring that energy up into the 200s, up to the 299s, because that's very physical. That is where you are going to start to see real results in the body. Then we want you to move on to the 300s. This is ideally, you do the mindset stuff in the beginning of the program, right? You do the mindset stuff and you continue to do it as you get pockets, right? You're doing this all the time. Every time you start to feel. Now, the higher your energy levels go, the less you're going to find yourself slipping into these pockets. And when you do, you find it so much easier to kind of pull yourself back out of them. So it's not like people in the 300s don't get sad, don't get anxious, don't get these things. It's like they'll feel them, they'll notice them, and they will move back on, right? If you're at a lower energy, you get stuck in them, right? So again, meditation, important for those types of things. Having rituals to keep your energy levels high and progressing, important, but also knowing what to do in the moment, okay? Let me know, I've been talking for a little bit, let me know if this is making sense. We have one more pocket of energy, the frequency that I want to chat about, and then I'm going to give you some overview things of what I want you to focus on to actually put this to work. So, I mean, like, what's the point of knowing all this? And you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? So 300 to 399 is the last one we're going to talk about, because that is, you know, when I create this program and when I share this program, I have to understand, and wherever you are, this is going to be important to know, who am I talking to? And where are they at? Because depending on the energy level of the people you're with, your customers, maybe your mentors, your friends, your family, understanding where their energy levels reside is going to be very important to having those interpersonal relationships and skills for you to move forward in your business, for you to move forward in your consciousness, in your energy, in your health and happiness. I want you to realize that the 200s is where the body resides, right? So that is going to be food. That's going to be a lot of things. As you move into the 300s, I will open up some other ideas to you that aren't necessarily given to you here because they wouldn't hit the same and would probably bring you backwards. But what I do want to tell you is the mind is a 400 energy. The body is a 200 energy. The mind is a 400 energy in the 400s. Body is 200. So what that means is the mind can heal the body. So a lot of the things that we work on at 100, 200, little bit of the 300 are not going to be as relative to 400. Because then you start to realize that a lot of the things that we work on and talk about aren't relative to 400 realms. But you also aren't going to be just jumping there. You also spend time in different pockets because they have different focuses, right? Hopefully that's making sense. I'm making sense as much as I can in what would be relevant, but it makes sense for me. I know what number I am. Okay, cool. So you know where you want to spend some focused time. So here we are going to move on to the 3 to 399. This, you guys, is where I want you to reside. This is where I want the program to take you. I want to take you from the 100 realms into consistent 200 realms. And then when I talk about intuition, when I talk about the ease, when I talk about it's natural, when I talk about forever, permanent weight loss, that's when you get into the 300s. So this energy is clarity. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly where you're going. You know where your joy is. You know, you understand your path. You might not know the end destination, but you understand how to get there. You're not toggling back and forth, right? This is the energy of willingness. So 100, 200, below 200 is all about want and desire. 200 is about want and doing. 3 to 399 is about willing, which means you don't have a want or desire so much. You're just willing to do it, right? Desire and wanting is lack. 3 to 399 is willing. You don't have that desire. You don't have that lack. You're just willing to do it, right? And this is the energy of excellence. So the emotions that come in 3 to 399 is going to be calm, clear, and optimistic. calm, clear, and optimistic. These are some of my desires that I have in my framework when it overlaps between the metabolism and the energetics, because this is where you begin to get that calm clearness, because the body affects this too, right? Like you want to be in a place where you're really going to feel aligned is when you are in a body that feels good. But you're there in a calm, clear way. It's not a struggle. You're not stressing about, you're not worried about everything you eat. You understand that when you are in line with your inner authority, it's just going to call to you. You're just going to feel like it. If you want to lose weight or if you want to be healthy, you're just going to have this feeling that, oh, I feel like having a salad. I'm not saying you have to have a salad. You might feel pulled to have a burger. You're going to be pulled to go work out. You're going to know what feels good. You're going to be a place of like, I follow that intuition, that joy. I follow that, right? And so I'm going to divide this up. So 300, some things that would pinpoint you of being in the 300s is you are hopeful. You're responsible and disciplined. But again, you're also self-motivated. So this just happens. This isn't a discipline of like, I have to be better. This just happens because this is who you are. This is your energy. This is what feels good. This is where the flow and ease comes from. You are productive and you create by being deliberate and making choices and actions. So your actions and choices are deliberate. They're not self-sabotaging, right? They're not doing it because someone else wants you to do it. You're not living in a place of, I should do this, I need to do this. It's just, you're deliberate. This is what you choose to do. And it feels good because you're following your inner authority. If you're at 320, you're eager. You have a lot of energy, right? Because as you move up the scale, you have more energy. Working out, moving, you're more active, you're doing things. Like this is a natural progression of your energy. When you have a lot of energy, right, you feel like you just don't want to sit down. You're like, I don't want to sit on the couch and watch TV. I have too much energy. I want to get up. I want to do things. I want to create. I want to connect. I want to bring ideas into fruition. You have energy. You're eager. You're excited. It just happens because you have an abundance of energy. You don't have that low energy of the 199s pulling you down with lack, scarcity, wants, shoulds, right? You're not overwhelmed. If you feel depressed and anxious and frustrated and overwhelmed, you've already gone too far, right? You've gone too far. You need to take a time out. Okay. 320 is also true positivity and kindness. It's not like people below 320 can be kind and positive, but sometimes it'll come from a place of manipulation, pretending to get something. Here it is just divinely within you. You have intent, right? You do things with intent. You're very intentional. So I always talk about in these meditations, set your segment intention, right? What is your intent? How do you want to feel? How do you want to move throughout the day? What kind of relationships? What do you want to create? How do you want to feel? What do you want to do with intent? You are committed. You have self-confidence beyond the approval of others, right? And you say yes to life and success. You're just like, yes, let's do this. Life is good. I'm all on board. I've got this. And it's because you want to, right? And you dress for your own approval, right? If you want to release a couple pounds, it's because you desire that. It comes from you. You don't care what other people think about what you're wearing, what you look like, what you're doing, who you spend your time with, what your hobbies are. You're not dimming your light. 380. So this is going to be 380 to 399. This is the highest I will ever push anyone to go in this program. I see a lot of my mentors going up to like the 380s. And once they hit the 400s, they basically retire or they move on. I actually just had one of my mentors retire. She's really young. I think she's like in her mid-20s. She's further on her path than I am, obviously. But like I said, when you get to the 400s and above, you don't have a priority. You don't care so much about this stuff. You don't care as much about the body. For a little bit, your body might kind of out, like, because you don't take as much care of it. But then you start to focus on the oneness, the world. This is like the bigger picture where you don't really worry about your success and um, your clothes, your health. It comes higher and you don't need to worry about it. You get up so high that it's no longer your will that drives you, it's a divine will, right? And so you're not worried about you and your choices. It's more of a divine. So that's when the energy just really is vibrating and you're really following your bliss. Um, if it doesn't resonate with you, you might be a little bit lower, and that's okay because, again, this is also, I want you to realize, if we're talking about this being a spiral, it's not good versus bad. So it's not like as you move up, you get better. So I want to make that very clear because I've had conversations with people where they took it to offense because they thought, well, oh, so this person's better than this person. And no, this isn't a good or bad situation. This is energy, and we are meant to be on this earth to go through this journey. And you're not trying to get from zero to enlightenment. Like, that's not the whole goal is just to live life and to increase our consciousness, right? And again, I'm using consciousness interchangeably with energy, but they go hand in hand, right? As you increase your energy, you increase your consciousness. It's just, they go hand in hand. So 380, this is the domain of expert, right? This is where you live in harmony. You tend to be rich, creative. So this is kind of the epitome of where a lot of people want to be in their life is they want to be rich, they want to be creative, they want to live in harmony, they want to be an expert at something, right? And so that would be the highest level I would be talking, because the rest is all about like knowledge and the scientists and like out of the realm of what we are trying to accomplish here. Let me know how you guys are, if this is making sense, if you're excited, if you're like, okay, now what? Does anyone have any questions on everything we've kind of talked about so far? Just because I want to make sure that I'm not like rushing past things if you're like, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I'm seeing if I'm missing anything here. So Amanda, let me ask you, if you're still on here, let me know. When it comes to you are feeling more emotions of moody, negative anger, and you are doing all the things, right? You said, you're focusing on what you're grateful for, tapping, getting outside, movement. Do you feel like that kind of helped you rein in those emotions and where that's coming from? Um, and again, here, the other thing that was asked, once we get to the intuitive living stage, can we pretty much do whatever workouts our bodies communicate to us as long as we still prioritize 3 to 4 progressive overload workouts each week? So just to go specifically off of that one question, super interesting, love it. Good. Hello, Bobby. I didn't even know you were here. Were you here since the beginning? Girl, you gotta speak up. Because honestly, if anyone has any questions, I'd love to speak on them too. So what Amanda was asking about the intuitive living stage, I would say the 300s is where that intuitive living is. So if you are still working through pockets of low level energy, you want to make sure that you have a good handle on that, because what that would tell me and what I want you to, and again, I don't want you to take my my description of them as your own. I want you to tune into your own authority. But if you feel like you are spending more time in this negative energy, I would feel like that would be a really good sign that you're not listening to your inner authority, right? That you are still acting from a place of outside and proving something, maybe proving to your own ego, right? So it might be a good time to even journal and go, what is going on here? What doesn't feel in alignment? What do I really want to create? Again, outside of the ego, outside of proving, outside of like, what do you desire? What do you find joyful? Are you doing enough of that? Are you resting enough? Are you pushing yourself too hard? Especially if you're a manifesting generator, you might be taking on too much. And if you're saying yes to everything, you're going to feel these lower level energies and they're going to drag you down. And then when you're dragged down, If you are dragged down enough, it could bring you to the level of, I don't know if I brought this up, but level of 125. It can bring you down to a level of 125. That is where craving is. And so even if you reside at a higher level, if you are not following your intuition, if you're pushing yourself too hard, if you're not actually, because here's the thing. When you're on this journey, your soul is going to be guiding you to what your intentions are and where you're going to be. So if you ever feel like you are not on the right path, or you're feeling these low level energies, the best thing to do is literally like quiet yourself, and like I said, either relax, take a time out, which is a great way to quiet it down, and then you can go, what would feel better, right? Because it just means you're just not on your path. And so you want to come back to, what is my path? Where am I supposed to be going? You have a set place where you're meant to go. Not like specifically, but like a general. Like, I'm generally supposed to get to this level. Generally supposed to get to this level. So you are your body, your soul, your inner authority. And you guys, if you're always feeling stressed, if you're always feeling overwhelmed, if you're always feeling depressed, that means you're always going against your inner authority. You're always going against your soul. You're always resistant, right? Like I told you, alignment is like in a boat and you're going with the flow, right? If you're feeling resistance, it's because you're literally turned your boat around and you're going upstream. Like you're actually resisting what your inner authority is telling you to do. Does that make sense? This is your compass. When it comes down to anything, it comes down to this. This is, and again, whatever you call it, your inner authority, your higher version, all of these levels are within us. And you might have glimpses and moments of these things. So they're in there. But your soul, your inner authority is guiding you. And when you're feeling these feelings, don't feel bad for them. Don't judge yourself. Just realize that is a signal that you are trying to go upstream. And for me, I hit that hard when I lost my hair. I was going, because, and that's why I introduced human design to you guys, because I was like, okay, this is a really cool way to explain some of this. The inner authority, to explain your strategy, because it talks about your energy and it gives you a little bit of insight on how to direct your energy, right? But the main thing still resides in that this is still going to guide you to where you need to be. And the emotions are a compass. And when you have those emotions that don't feel good, that's a good thing. And you don't want to judge yourself. You want to go, oh, what is this trying to tell me? I need to take a break. Maybe I'm having a shitty thought that is like, I need to have some better thoughts. And again, I give you some tools, right? I give you tools to release unresolved negative emotions, right, from the past. But you don't want to keep pushing them down. So remember, the little tool that I gave you, I don't even know if it has a name. But when you stop, you tap into it, you breathe into it, and you exhale it out. That's one way you can release that emotion. There's also a meditation that I would like to do, but I think I might actually leave it for next week because, so the basic emotion, or the basic meditation, that if you want to build your dream body, so remember what dream means. It means discipline, right? So in the beginning, to create your dream body, most of us are going to need some kind of discipline, right? Especially if you're in these lower level frequencies. And then you need R for rituals. And we want rituals to increase your energy. Oh yeah, that's the thing I wanted to talk about. Rituals to increase your energy, right? And then E is empowerment. So really tapping into those emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs, and making sure that they align with who you really are, right? Because a lot of them are lies and they make you feel shitty, and they keep you from progressing, right? A in dream is alignment. It's aligned action. So again, alignment. If you're taking action that is moving away from where your soul wants, what your inner authority wants, you are going to be brought back to that resistance. You're going to make everything harder. Remember, in the 200s and lower, everything is hard work. Everything is harder work. It's the harder I work, the more results I get. And to some point, you can get money, you can get the body you want, but it's a lot of hard work. And a lot of hard work is going to throw you out of alignment. It's going to sap your energy. And if you sap your energy enough, it's going to hurl you back into the lower energies of below 200. Do you see how this is all connecting? Right? So all of these parts you want to start to be aware of. And then dream, M is for metabolism, because again, most people's weight loss goals are sabotaged because they're just focusing on like doing a lot of cardio and not eating a lot, and that's gonna mess up your hormones and again, and your metabolism, which again, if we come back to it, even when I talk about the female hormones and the cycle and how that is actually aligned with energies too, because your body, your inner authority is actually telling you how to work out, when to eat, but when you resist it and you go against that, that is when you cause the issue. So again, it's all combined. It's all combined. So I think next week we'll do what's called the pure meditation. This is going to allow you to, one, increase your energy, two, because we haven't really talked about like reality shifting, but this kind of has a, when you are on a higher vibration, remember what I was saying when like you, like the world mirrors you, right? And so if you're waiting for the mirror to smile, that's never going to work. You have to smile first. So your energy is going to be mirrored to you in the world. That also means the reality that you want to create. If you want to create a reality that is 300, 400, and you are residing in an energy frequency of 100, you are not going to be able to have a life of 300. But if you can do the work with your energy and your mindset to help you keep that energy up high, you will go into that reality. And everything will change. Okay? So we want to, one, deal with those emotions in the moment, like I mentioned, right? But two, we want to have rituals of increasing our energy. We want rituals that increase our energy. In the program, obviously, we talk about like hinging points, and we talk about human design and your thoughts and your beliefs. All of these things are meant to shift your energy, right? Your hinging points are based off of your own personal guidance. Like what things do you do that keep your energy up high? So I want you to keep those in mind, right? Very, very important to figure out what those routines are. But I want you to think about the rituals that are going to increase your energy levels. So realizing that all of these energies on here, everything in life correlates to a different energy level. And so some things that you can do to start to bring your energy level up, and that's what I want to quick bring over. So on a daily basis, you want to do, I would say, some kind of meditation, some kind of form of, because again, your mind is at 400. So you want to make sure you're taking care of that. I've given you the guided meditation of follow your bliss, right? Because again, following your bliss is how you get to those higher level energies. It's your inner authority and it follows it. And you can actually project that out and you can start to change your reality if you feel a certain way. Remember, it's about your emotions. Your emotions are what's going to help you shift your energy, but your actions also help you shift your emotions, right? So in that meditation in and of itself, if you haven't been doing it, you can do it, but I'm going to give you a new one next week that's even a little bit easier. That the whole goal of it is to help you define the reality you want to create so that you can start to shift into that reality. And again, it's all about the emotions. It's about connecting. It's about bringing it into reality. Two, I want you to think about, and I'm going to give you the scale. If you want to increase your energy, you want to start to do things in the next higher energy level. So like if you were stuck in the 200s, maybe to boost yourself closer into the 300s, you really want to focus on being really kind or being really generous or paying it forward, doing random acts of kindness, right? Or if you're a very low energy field, it might just be something as simple as, resting more. So finding activity levels in the next level up to focus on to help you start to bring your energy level up. Things like music. So what kind of music do you guys listen to, right? There's low level, like general music that's around 200. So a lot of the radio, like a lot of the music on TV or on radio is around 200. There's some really low vibrating music too, like gangster rap and stuff that will bring your energy down lower. If you want to start to do random things, which I do, is I listen to classical music. So classical music is anywhere from like the high 400s, mid to high 400s. So listening to classical music actually intentionally in the background has been shown to, one, increase your energy levels. And if you do it consistently, it can consistently keep you up there. But two, it can help you heal. It's actually been shown to help you heal. So if you are dealing with any kind of issues, listening to classical music has been shown to help you heal, right? So listening to classical music, putting yourself in higher vibrating situations and environments, meditating, right? Having activities and hobbies that vibrate at a higher level. I can't think of anything specifically now, but again, watching low energy TV, like people who are killing people or negative things, TV on average is about 200s, but then again, if it has a negative intent, it will vibrate lower. If it's comedy, funny, light going, it's a little bit higher. Higher yet for a hobby is if you're online and you're using it as a tool, like an educational tool, that's like 260. But again, educational tool, right? It depends on the intent of the thing. So again, high vibrating activities, high vibrating music, high vibrating, just practicing certain emotions and actions of higher vibrating situations. So again, if you're someone who is very low level, working out could very well be the high vibrating hobby that you want to start to increase that'll bring your vibration up. It's been shown that like lifting weights is in the 200s, because again, remember, that's more of a body that's mid-level. That's around 200 and something. It can go all the way up to like 275 and higher. Dancing can go all the way up into the 400s depending on the kind of dance. So they have different ranges. So if you feel like a rise in your energy, and so that's why I dance. That's why I find a lot of people are gravitate towards pole dancing, or there's all these kinds of dances that really get into your body that can really increase your level. So I want you to take a look at what are the activities, what are the things I can do, what are the rituals I can have that are going to increase my vibration. Again, journaling can be one of them. If you're journaling on helping you increase your vibration, if you're having this low level negative thought, you can journal on what better thoughts, better beliefs. So really starting to create that. Once I send out, or you can actually look it up, you can look up the chart. It's called the Frederick Dodson chart. I don't really levels of energy. I look at Frederick Dodson's levels of energy and kind of take a look-see at that. I said last time you can definitely look that book up because it'll go over those better, figure out where you're at, and start to do the work. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to be creating a whole, no, not rap music. Now, here I do want to say, like, if you are someone who vibrates higher already, those musics aren't necessarily going to be like a make or break. So like TV in and of itself can actually pull you up if you're at a very low level. If you're at 200 or less, if you're below 200, most TV can bring you up. Frederick Dodson actually talks about how the invention of television is what increased our mass consciousness in the first place. So technology actually increased our consciousness as a whole. But again, if you're someone who wants to raise your vibration, you might want to look for higher vibrating options to spend your time, energy, higher vibrating thoughts, higher vibrating emotions that we talked about here. So really focusing on how can I increase my vibration, but it's about intention, right? So 200s are all about doing, wanting, and doing. Under 200 is just about want and desire, but there's no action. 200s is about wanting and doing. 300s is about the willingness. It's the doing, but it doesn't have so much desire because it just kind of happens. Hopefully, this is making sense. Hopefully, this energy chat is like making things a little bit more clear to you, because this can change your life if you start to put this into action. So, what I would have you do, guys, is really determine on, you know, what are your rituals that you're going to start to do to increase your energy vibration? What are you going to do when you're having these lower energy emotions, thoughts, beliefs? Are you going to take a break? Are you going to do a timeout? Are you going to reach for better thoughts, actions, or beliefs? Again, it doesn't have to be super better. Like, it's got to be believable. It's got to be something you can do. It's just got to be slightly upwards. You want to kind of inch your way up and be intentional when you have these things. Dissect them, allow yourself to release them, but also inspect them and go, what is this saying? Like, tapping in, even journaling, really like honoring and building a relationship, like I said, within the human design aspect of, the program that I'm adding in as like a bonus module. Like, build a relationship with your intuition. How does your intuition work? How does it talk to you? Because following your bliss, following what makes you happy, following your joy, that's what that whole meditation was about, is what is going to help you on your journey of increasing your energy levels.